Hi, welcome to Nollywood Film Club. I am Mr. C of Aroka Critic. I hope you're doing well. Yes, today we're discussing a second um, box office record holder. We have done this before, but there is a new one. This is the latest one as of now. And we had a fun conversation. Not too much to add. Look, we're keeping the time short. I hope you appreciate this. And I just hope you enjoy Nollywood Film Club discussing A Tribe Called Judah. All right. Welcome to Nollywood Film Club. We do discuss Nollywood movies every Sunday. Today we are discussing Nigeria's box office billion naira film, the box office record holder for the highest grossing movie in Nigeria of all time, different from Nigerian movie of all time. We're discussing A Tribe Called Judah. We'll discuss what we like in the good. We'll discuss what we don't like in the bad, and if we disagree with each other, we'll lay it all out in the pushback section, and then we'll do a summary of general state of mind about this film. Very interesting to see what people think. But let's start. Ainka, can you tell us what you liked about A Tribe Called Judah?
Hello, everybody. Yes, I think the performances were pretty okay, and as a big, as a like popular big movie, I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was really entertaining. Uh I like the fact that what's it called? It Funke Akindele seems to be doing movies about like more regular people in Nigeria, and it's very yes, it is heightened like Nigerian behaviors, but it is very made for the Nigerian audience. There's something it doesn't feel like she's trying to do more than that. And you can see why it was the most highest grossing um movie. It is standard bearing, well made. The acting is pretty okay. Uh the story connects. There's nothing too ridiculous about it, and it seems very situated within like the Nigeria reality, and not just the reality, not just like an aspect of when I say Nigeria, I mean by like majority of Nigerians, which is kind of like, well, actually still not majority of Nigerians, because majority of Nigerians are really more poor than that. But it is not like the high lecky something people who are trying to be westernized, you know. So I liked it for that. I'm just going to end it at that. And it was insane, and I laughed. It was cool. It was an enjoyable night.
All right, thanks, Ainka.
There's more I
Enjoyable
want to
night.
say, but I can't say it because of the line.
Okay. All right. Alana, please tell us some of the things you liked about A Tribe Called Judah.
Um, like Onika said, I also like the what I call it relatability of the movie. It was a movie that when you're watching it, I like that there were five brothers, and each of the brothers basically played a very relatable role in the sense that the eldest was acting like a lot of elder ones, the middle children were very chaotic, very hard to all I say hard to control and stuff like that. And the last born was last born. So I enjoyed the relatability of it and the fact that it was a family themed movie. A lot of times in Nollywood these days, they like to do a lot of rom-coms and the likes, but this was just a family themed movie. There was some love and romance somewhere on the side, but it wasn't the central theme of the movie. So I enjoyed that, and I also enjoyed the performances of some of the characters, namely Jide Kine's character, Toby Makinde's character, that's Shinene, and Uzuaruku's character. And it was, I mentioned, I think, to Timini that this was my best performance from him because it just seemed very natural. So, yeah, those are the main things I liked about it. It was a very fun movie to watch. It gave the laughs and it gave the tears as well. So, yeah, I liked it a lot.
Okay, all right. General likes for Tribe Called Judah. Chinwe, tell us what you liked about Tribe Called Judah.
Hey everyone. Good evening. So, I liked a lot of the visuals. I like the look. I like the colors. Like there's this brown pastel thing that they had going on that really looked nice. So it was really nice to look at. The opening sequence, I really like the opening sequence where she comes out of her house, like the way the characters were introduced, and she got into the keke and all of that was going on in those first few minutes. I really like that, and there's something cool about the way they just introduced the characters. Like, I mean, where you could see someone jumping over a car, and then they'll do like a freeze frame, and then write their name, and you see someone picking someone's pocket and stuff like that. Like that was really cool and fun filmmaking too. That was nice to see. The execution. Oh, let me not say that. And also, I recall was a delight anytime he was on screen. He was really hilarious. And the spoken Igbo in this film was really good. Like it was very refreshing. I actually just I didn't even notice it. So that's the thing. I didn't notice it the first when I saw it in the cinemas, but watching it again now for this film club, I actually paid attention to it because the certain. Let me not mention the film. Seeing this in a secretary role was she really I really liked her performance. Like there was something different in seeing her in that role in something because I'm used to seeing her in like larger than life or really I'm not used to seeing her in roles like this. It was and she really put it off. I really like that. I like that they made some bold choices like in killing off Jidekene's character. That was bold. So he made it. It came with a punch. There's this little detail that I really like. Like in Mama J's room, where you'd see like there's an extra mattress by the side of her bed. Like it's just a naked empty. It's just a naked mattress that's just there, just for nothing. Like just small attention to details like that. You could tell that the set design guys or whoever, and even the wardrobe as well. Like visually, the visual, it was really there was a lot of thoughts and effort put into the visual. So I really like that. Even the locations where they shot, like there were multi-varied locations. Like there was the high class furniture store, there was the mall, there was the poverty-stricken apartment that the Judas lived in. Um, yeah, I think. I mean, of course, you have to say. I mean, there's some criticism about Funke's style and her type of filmmaking, but you have to give her credit. She knows her stuff, and I mean, she did her thing with this film. So you have to give her that, if nothing. So yeah, those are the things I liked about the film. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Chinweke. Rotimi, before Rotimi speaks, if you want to tell us what you liked, but you don't want to speak, just comment underneath the space, and we'll read it out. All right, Rotimi, do you want to tell us?
Yeah, just like Chiweke kind of said, like it's almost like Funke has it's almost like I call it like the four rules of her formula. There's always Funke herself is always the center of the story. She's always entertaining. Her brand brings people. It's always about family. There's some kind of family dynamic. There's always like a fight going on between the different characters. Then it's always funny. So it always makes it entertaining for the general audience to watch. Like people have said before, the general production, the state, like her whole, the two main places, her house and the mall, like production and locations for those things looked realistic, looked like realistic in terms of Nigeria, like they look like realistic Nigerian settings. Performances were good all around. Funke is still like a show still as her lines, her character, her actual, you get a point that you actually feel how she's emotionally connected to her children. And it's like, it makes it like, how vulnerable she is based on like the way when the two, like especially the two younger ones, how they are going wayward and how that puts a kind of emotional stress on her. And like, then you now see that how that pushes all the children when she falls ill, like, okay, we are going to go over and beyond to go and save our mother. So that was nice. Then I also kind of like the heist, even like, the heist is probably the kind of stretchy, like let's stretch our imagination about the heist, but the heist was kind of entertaining to watch. I'll probably won't argue that Funke does better fighting than people that are actually doing action films, because like maybe you look at the punches and everything like, but the throws, when you see somebody get thrown and they actually hit something and break a piece of furniture, I'm like, okay, that was nice. The gunfighting too, not too bad, not too shabby. Yeah. So yeah, I think I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
All right. Thanks for writing me. Wayne, do you want to tell us some of the things you liked about A Tribe Called Judah? Oh, Wayne's not here. Okay. All right. Taz, do you want to tell us what you...
Sure. I like the vibes. I'm not gonna lie. It was interesting overall. I did enjoy the characterization, mostly for Funke's character, and a lot for Uzo Arukwe's character. And the brothers are cast nicely. Timini surprisingly doesn't annoy me in this movie. Um, I actually think this is probably one of his better appearances, because he's not playing the same thing, and he does add sort of his own flair to the character. I enjoyed Uzarukwe. I think he was hilarious. There's a line he says, I it's during when he's describing the Judah brother back. I can't remember his name. And he says the one that doesn't use Lulon. And like, imagine that being the way someone remembers you as they want to kill you. I just thought it was hilarious. It was I thought it was a well done character. Everything he did and said in general felt on track for the character. Even though I've seen that character too many times at this point. But he does it well, and he did a great job, and it worked for the movie. I did enjoy the introduction. I think once I saw all the boys leaving their jobs to mobilize and fight, I realized this was the kind of movie you turn off your brain for. And so that's what I did. I turned off my brain. I had a fun time. There was some heart in this movie. And it did get me invested enough in the brothers and the families somewhat, that when Jide died, I was shocked. I was a little sad. And so I appreciated the movie for the little bits of feeling in it, and for the family dynamic that was portrayed, and for Uzarukwe. And the general story they were telling was fun, simple, reminded me of Sugar Rush, actually. But I guess that will come up later. But yeah.
All right. So Sugar Rush comparisons. That's interesting. All right. I'm going to read Halima's likes. Halima says she likes the casting. The brothers were all really good. I enjoyed the acting from them, even though it's sort of the same type of family drama. It's a nice story told really well. Uzo was a delight to watch. I enjoyed the feel of the film. I also liked the stretch of it, the Uzo torture style, the heist, the escape, and all of that. It was a very entertaining film. Toby Makinde, Uzo Orikwe, and Timini were my highlights. Okay. Ada, do you want to tell us some of the things you liked about A Tribe Called Judah?
Sorry, I also forgot that I like that and say it doesn't have a British accent here. That's my last thing.
All right. So I like the setting up of the movie at the start when they're introducing everyone else, every one of the brothers. It's quite unique, and it kind of like shows also the unique personalities and the unique situations, and it was a fun way to introduce them. I agree with everyone that Uzo was quite funny in this one. I didn't like him in the last movie we discussed. I think it was that Bank Alert. I didn't quite think he was that funny. But in this one, I really, really liked him. It was very stereotypically Igbo, but it wasn't in a cringe way. It was believable, and he was quite humorous. And yeah, he had a lot of funny moments. And speaking of which, I like that the movie had some quietly funny scenes that were not outwardly funny. For example, when what's his name? The older brother Emeka is asking him for money, and I think he said something like, when he returns the money and he's expecting a compensation, and he's like, yeah, I'm gonna shake your hand. And Emeka's hand is very limp because that's not what he's expecting. That was quite funny because, it's not something that's outwardly funny, but it's like the little details. And you can see his limp hand shaking him. And yeah, I thought that was quite funny. I think I like the attempt to add little bit new things in a common story. So yeah, we've had, I guess, similar heisty movies, but there was an injection of something new in this. And I think Funke is definitely somebody that in her movies there is always, let me say always, but there usually is something new, something that we don't see in other movies in terms of the storytelling. So I quite appreciate that. I thought I was going to be alone in saying this, but I didn't roll my eyes when I saw Timini. I really thought this was going to be a unique point of view, but I'm seeing other people saying the same. Yeah, I didn't roll my eyes when I saw Timini. I thought his performance was quite good. And I really like that he wasn't doing like the stereotypical spoiled brat in the movies. And I also, I thought the heist was a little bit humorous as well. So as mentioned, we've had heists before, but yeah, it was quite humorous a little bit. The costumes as well. So yeah, I quite appreciate injecting a little bit of something new in an already told story. But yeah, that's me. Thanks.
Okay, all right. Thanks, Ada. Mrs. C, you've been quiet. I'm sure you've been here all this time. Tell us what you liked about A Tribe Called Judah.
So what did I like about A Tribe Called Judah? I mean, I'm going to echo Otav's on when we open with all these guys leaving work to come and fight for their mom. It did set the tone for me. I knew what to expect. I think Funke and team are quite good at creating. I mean, it is their production design, right? It's like when with Battle on Booker Street, that street felt very, it felt right. Let me put it that way. I don't have the words. That street felt right. And I think they did that with, with where they lived, their environment, the pepper cellar, all of that stuff. I think that worked. So I liked that. I thought, Uzo Arukwe, again, we don't want him typecast, but it's a little like, why would they typecast you when you do it so well, right? I really enjoyed him in this role. Every outfit he wore was a hit from me. The net, the newspaper jacket, the curved shoes, the crop top, everything was giving. I loved every outfit, and he was funny. It was just being funny and evil at the same time. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. When he asked for the mom's name to add her to his prayer chain, yeah, I really enjoyed Uzaroko in this. Romance. I think I said this earlier when we were talking about romance. And I said we'll get to it. And what gave me romance was A Tribe Called Judah. Strangely enough, Testimony and Ejiro. Testimony is a ride or die. You all want a testimony in your life. And I don't know if you want her for a daughter, but you do. I don't want testimony for a daughter, that's for sure. But you want testimony in your life. I both wanted to flog them and hug them at the same time. They would irritate me and then it would work out. And I guess romance is irritating on some level. But yeah, I thought that was... But yeah, it was honestly vibes. And for the most part, I enjoyed the vibes. I do have to say, though, I haven't finished a rewatch on Prime. So I'm going off what I saw in cinema and then half of my Prime viewing.
Okay. All right. It's time for me. The he good. All right. No, I think a lot of people, oh God, what's the Nollywood bus change? I was since that there's some people I need to start adding to the block list. Can't be coming late as a platinum card holder. Nollywood must change. Let me just, Nollywood must change. Hi. Yes.
Okay, I think it went off when you wanted to add me. So, what do I like about uh, a tribe called Judah? So, I like the characterization of the mother, kind of in a way that she's not really all that bad. You know, she's not. She does something good, and at the point too, she's kind of like you can judge her based on her past. You can not like you can really, but I kind of judge her based on her past. Like, what do you mean you wait? They see your kids lesson teacher. Do you understand? So she's kind of this character that she's not bad, she's good. Maybe let me say a mix of the two. And then the guys, I kind of like how they are kind of different. You know, there are two of them working hard, to feed the family, and there is two out there doing all those kind of messy things that you wait them for. Yeah, I kind of like that. And the comedy, I had a bit of laugh, kind of, in the movie, and it kind of mixed comedy with drama very well. And at the point, you kind of feel for them. I think it kind of moves you to give what it's supposed to give. When you want to feel sad for them, you kind of feel sad. I kind of like Inse in this. I like the beats where she's walking, not the beats where she's an arm robber. You know, I kind of like the bit where she's acting as a secretary, is the secretary of or manager of the, of the furniture store. What is that like? I'm trying to remember, because I have not seen it since it came out of Prime, but I saw it in cinema. I'm kind of trying to remember what I believe, but I think it's better than Omogeto for me. It was better than Omogeto. I could, finish it. Yeah, that was all I have to say.
All right. Thanks, Nollywood Must Change. Yeah. So for me, I think there's so much of this I actually like, and I think there might be just as much that I admire about this. Just generally, I think Funke is improving in both, in both, in her filmmaking. It's something that sometimes one of the things, a lot of the time when we have films that are trying to tell these more Nigerian stories, I feel like we go, oh, well, at least we're doing the Nigerian stories. Who cares if it looks good, sounds good, costumes are great, and all of that. And I think Funke is not satisfied with just, okay, I'm telling a Nigerian story. She actually wants to present something cinematic. And I think after we saw this, I think I tweeted, like, she keeps on improving on the Nigerian cinematic experience. And that's to say a few things. That's to say a number of things. And maybe I'll touch on a couple of them there. But I liked a couple of people's performances in this. Some people have mentioned Timini. I liked Timini in this. It's nice to see. You don't see much of his ego in this performance. There is actually liked Genevieve is somebody who I have criticized in the past. I haven't been seeing the alert. I haven't gotten it from Blood. What do they call it? Blood Sister. Right. I didn't particularly like her in Blood Sisters. I thought she was miscast there. And this if anything, she should have been miscast for, should have been this role, but she's so good in it. And it's by far my favorite thing I've seen her in. And Mrs. C is talking about her romance with, I can't remember, with Ejiro. I enjoyed that so much. Uzo, we've spoken about before. Uzo is always killing it for me. I think one thing that probably sets this performance slightly apart from Bank Alert is some of the costuming and that Mrs. C has touched on, and also I think a lot of the camera work. The camera work isn't special, but it's actually quite good, and it's quite. It knows what it wants to do a lot of the time. There's definitely room for improvement and room for growth, but like I actually like that Barney wasn't too. He also realized that I think he toed this line between I can improve this cinematically and I shouldn't just do shots for shots' sake. I thought he toed that line pretty well. I liked the name. Tribe Called Judah is. I like this touch on. Obviously, it's this family thing, but it's also, like Tribes of Judah. I know, like puns are a thing these days with title, but where Blood Vessel seems goofy for a very serious thing, A Tribe Called Judah for a comedic thing is actually kind of almost the reverse, because you do actually have all these different children from different tribes. But like the tribe called Judah, the Judah family is the thing that they actually belong to at the end of the day, despite them being from all these different backgrounds. So I like that aspect of family, that it's tying together there. What else did I like? Oh, I have to say about Uzo Aruku's performance again, just is that I think that people say he's getting typecast, and I get it. Like, where is my money? How many times? 4 times now. Bank Alert, Sugar Rush was the one. Prophetess to some degree, even though and this film. So I get it, but from my experience, all of these performances have had their own slight different tweak to them. I'm actually amazed how he can add nuance to what should be such a flat role. I also think that where Blossom's L and R factor that he did in The Trade that I found grating, he pulls it off flawlessly here. So yeah, props to him. I love the writing is cute. And like, I'm not talking about every part of it, but like the things that, like often we will have all these different plot points, but like the way we go from one to the other is a little crazy, and it doesn't carry me along. And even though like Otas is right in that this is a vibes film, it doesn't neglect some things, and it's quite clever in the way it decides to tie things. Like when you talk about testimonies, romance with Ejiro, and like it being a lot of the time, it could have been just, this is just their quirky trait that they're just annoyingly lovey-dovey stuff. But her inability to be detached from Ejiro is what helps them out twice, right? So like it's written into the script. Like, so you don't just have, even sometimes where they get into trouble and she comes to the rescue, it's set up very well. I just like a lot of this. The comedy as well works generally. I just remembered a part of the comedy that I think brings in the Genevieve's, even like sort of the way it was shot was when after Didekene's character has died, and they don't want to let out that he's died like
yeah, they're trying to keep it a secret so that it doesn't get traced back. It doesn't raise any suspicious heads. And they say to her like, hey, you can't tell anybody, right? Like, keep it down, keep on the low. And she's like, and then she starts narrating a story about how, somebody asked her that she saw her crying, and then they asked her why she was crying, and it's not just the way she narrates. It's such a Nigerian way, number one, of narrating stories, but it's built in well to that joke, and you think, oh no, she's outed them, but the punchline is that she could not even talk. She just kept on crying. I just love that. The way it's shot as well, by the way, it's not just that it was written. It was also the way it was shot. It's just the pulling in to her face, like, oh, she's like almost to build you into this. She's let everybody down, kind of thing, with this her softness. But yeah, actually, I like a lot about this. It definitely has its issues, but one of the things I've been calling for is just like, can we just improve? And she's actually the one improving. Funke is making steps forward. All right. Anyway, if we can go into the things, actually, just before we go into the things we don't like, I think some people mentioned some things that they liked. I'm just going to read them out. So Adeoluwa says, Funke and Akinlabi movies are well structured, amazing setup and good cinematography. Loved the story, learned a lot, and the characters were believable. I kept thinking Emeka dying was a dream till we got to the end, and then it dawned on me, and I was really sad. Ricky says, I like when Tim said, I want one fat meat pie. Then, like the way Testimony saved the boys with the car, and she's struck the bad guy in the head. Nice movie. Okay. Inka says, I also like how the movie tries to form a Nigerian identity. The story centered around lower class Nigerian family, all from the tribes, and the mix of language that is typically used in Nigeria. IK says, characterization was the best skill employed in the movie. I mean, you can think up an awesome plot most of the time, but then you can create characters like the ones in The Tribe Called Judah. Heavens, that's pure ingenuity. Okay. And DBC says, Uzaruke, what a delight to watch. Top performance from Funke also. I like the part she got back from the hospital to a welcome party from her children. Great performance all around. Good watch. Okay. All right. Thanks for all your comments. We are now going to pivot into the things that we did not like. We'll start with Anka. Anka, tell us what you didn't like about A Tribe Called Judah.
So, what I didn't like about A Tribe Called Judah, the first thing I would say that I think they kind of slightly lost the ball on. It doesn't impact the enjoyment of the movie, but it's kind of what was it called? Oh my God, I had it and I lost it. Yes. All of a sudden, I don't know who threw acid on those people. Like, how did they know those people are going to drive to that place? And like, they didn't give us I don't feel like they gave us a possibility of holding on to some little tangle or being like, oh, because of this and because of that. They know exactly where they're going to drive to cut. Like, it's so quick. But hey, they're trying to make time in the story. I don't mind that. Yeah, that's kind of like one of the issues. Who called the cops? Who called the cops at the end? It's a deus ex machina. Not saying that it's a bad thing. Not saying that it's something. I'm just saying that I felt like it was slightly off. But I understand why it's there. I'm not going to tell them to change it. I don't want this movie to be longer than it is. I mean, I was enjoying myself, but even if you enjoy yourself, you don't want to sit for like a 3-hour movie. I'm so sorry. Those were the kind of the things I didn't like. I do think they use music well. I actually do like some of the music. I do think they do. Most of the time the sound was okay. most of the time the sound was okay. So I'm just going to point out the times that the sound were not okay. And there was a tiny little, I don't know if anybody saw it, but there was somebody behind the back of Funke Akindele. I don't know what scene it is. Maybe it's the scene where she's talking to her mother, where there was a guy behind the chair who is probably part of the crew. And by the time they cut to the scene, to another scene of her still within the same scene, like another image or another frame, the guy disappears, right? So I'm just like, oh, I saw that. And I usually don't catch these things, but I saw it. Other than that, hey, the movie is okay. I have really nothing to complain about. Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Yunko. Alana, tell us some things you didn't like about Trap Culture.
Honestly, there's really anything I didn't like about the movie aside, like when Kasola said the end and how it looked a bit rushed, like they were just trying to push us to the end. So certain things like how the bad guys learned of where they were getting to and who poured those guys, like it must have been the ghost of Emeka that poured us in there, because from where to where, well, like aside that, I think for the most part I actually enjoyed the movie. I don't really have much negative to say about it.
Oh, okay. And thanks, Alana. Chinweke, do you want to tell us what you didn't like so much?
So yeah, what I didn't like, the runtime, like, I felt like there were a lot of pointless scenes. Well, I felt like there were a lot of scenes that could have been cut that weren't necessary, that made it unnecessarily long. I found myself doing the first time as well as now. Or this time I had the option to fast forward, so I skipped through a bunch of scenes. Like one, for instance, I really do not understand what that begging scene with Viva was for. Like I don't I just like I did not see the point. Like it just felt like someone just decided in the middle of the film to make a skit. I don't know what was going on with the Indian theme music. I don't know. That was a choice, but I thought it was a strange choice. There was a couple of stereotypes going on. I mean, stereotypes and stereotypes for a reason, right? But like, I don't know. Maybe could you maybe not? And the heist in itself, just I think the entire final act it was a bit weird. There was this characteristic lack of coherence that started to rear its head. Like it just felt like a mishmash of scenes. It was really a struggle for me to to piece together in my head. I really struggled with it. I thought I don't know, but then I probably maybe turned on my brain too much for this. I'm probably overthinking it. So I think, like someone said earlier, if you really want to enjoy this film, you have to like turn off your brain. So I think what I don't like is that when you turn on your brain, you can't really watch it. It start to like really hurt your brain and stuff. Yeah. So I think the major thing that I didn't really like was it was just I don't know. I think it's a thing that is in the quality of our film. So I don't know. That was just the thing. So let me just end it, please. Thank you.
Okay, all right. Thanks, Chinweke. Rotimi, do you want to tell us what you didn't like about Trap Culture?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
So it's just there's really not much to complain about. There's only one that was something that stands out to me as a clear and obvious error. I think I don't want to butcher this actress name. Ishola Etim. When they did the when they were doing the heist, when this guy unmasked the shop assistants, I think Ishola Etim. Somebody correct if I'm pronouncing her name correctly, but When the first
Okay.
is Inse, okay, Inse's character. When they unmask her, she's knocked out and like she's on the floor, and there are no clear injuries. Like she has no injury, she's just knocked out. Then the next time when she comes into the corridor, she has this blue stuff on her head. Her nose has a cut on it. She's bleeding, and I'm like, from when she was knocked out and they left her and they didn't touch her after that, she didn't have those injuries. So the next shot where they shot, it was just that was just a clear continuity error. Apart from that, it's just like um the story structure actually works. I just think like after that, the heist, by the time you get towards the end, that's the heist is like the peak, it's the highest thing. So it's almost like we always have this weird thing in our third act, the stake, like that escape when they were trying to escape. I don't know. I just feel like maybe it was a step down from the heist. So I'm like, if you are trying to escape one guy looking for his money, that part too is supposed to be like tension and exciting and how you're going to escape. Maybe you could raise the energy. So from the heist, everything kind of drops, then it just ends. That's just on a mood. It's kind of like the heist is the highest point, like whereas the end is not as high as the heist. But apart from that, I don't have much to complain about. I think it was a nice movie. And that's it. I'm done.
Okay, thanks, Rotimi. Wayne, you sort of missed the good parts. If you want to give us even the things you liked and the things you don't like quickly.
Can you hear me? Because I fought all the internet in the world. Okay. The things I did like, I really liked. I didn't hear what a lot of people said, but I really liked Geneva. I hope I'm pronouncing her name well. I think the first time I saw her on screen,
Genevieve.
Oh. Well, I thought her name is Geneva. I think that's her Instagram. Sorry, yo. I think her Instagram name is.
It's not Genevieve. Am I tripping? It's Genevieve, right?
Yeah, it's Genevieve.
Oh, I thought it was Geneva. I think Geneva is like a place, right? Geneva is a place, right? Geneva, I think. Anyways, let's leave the geography. Okay. I like that babe. Like, I really liked her. She just had this very warm vibe. And the casting, I think I came and people were speaking about casting. I really like the casting choices in the film. I like the story. I like that there were parts in it that was funny, like genuinely funny. It's hard to make me laugh, and parts made me laugh. So there was that. Let's move to the bad because apparently, okay. So one thing I didn't like was when it first started, they did like this back-to-back exposition, and it's like I can't remember. I think he's when. Wait, I think I wrote it down. Okay, yes. The first exposition, then she started explaining about like all of her husbands, like randomly. She's just telling the person that, okay, I mean, they explain it in the story why she's doing it, but like just to mention, like we can see why. Like they're trying to tell us, oh, who are all of her 5 husbands, and then they tell us everything. They explain why this. Then the next scene, they start explaining why 2 of them are responsible and the next 3 of them are irresponsible. It's like random. Like there was no need for the exposition. That's what I didn't like. The video of them begging, like who shot that video? Did somebody carry a 4K camera and like with a gimbal in front of them? Because that video was like a shot from the movie itself. And also I think there was just like a bit of things that were like convenient, especially the fact that the camera, like the place that she was unmasked was the place that it was just like 1 or 2 conveniences, but generally it was good. Not too many things to hate about it.
Okay. That's you use your time very efficiently there. All right. Okay, thanks, Wayne. Atas, do you want to tell us some of the things you didn't like?
Sure. I don't have a lot. I went into this film with no expectations. My only request was that it not be worse than She Must Be Obeyed, and it wasn't. So pretty great there. I guess if I had to give one, it would be that I think someone else needs to direct Funke. A lot of the other characters I thought were very well directed, even down to I can't remember who mentioned the limp handshake when he didn't get money. that is all like pretty good direction and pretty good acting. I think though that Funke's character tended to be overacted a lot, and maybe they could benefit from someone on the set who isn't afraid. And I'm assuming, of course, because she's the big boss of the whole thing, so I can understand. But it just felt like she needed to be told no sometimes. There's a scene where after she has a stroke, she's sitting on her bed and she's crying. And there's just so much focus on her face and her makeup, and they really want you to see that half of her face is sort of melting and then she's crying. It was a lot. And there were other scenes like that where she was just a little overacted. Um, but other than that, there's not much else to add. Yeah, there were conveniences, but overall it was a good vibe. So
Oh, look at that. High praise. All right. Dad, do you want to tell us some of the things you liked? Oh, you didn't like, sorry, by Tribe Called Judah.
Yeah, I think I agreed with a few things that Wayne said. But in addition to that, I think the pacing was a bit off. Not necessarily off, but I think they spent quite a bit of time at the beginning setting all of the characters up, setting all of the relationship or whatever they were doing. And I think the kidney incident actually started at the 40-minute mark, which is quite late. And also the whole 40-minute did not necessarily have any bearing in the rest of the movie. I mean, it did set up their relationship, but I think that could have been done in a much quicker way. There was a scene that I think he was talking to his girlfriend's parents for no reason. I don't think that was necessarily relevant. I think it was probably just used to establish that he didn't know about his dad. But again, that bears really no relevance to the movie. So I think that could have been tightened up a little bit. Again, it focused a lot on Funke's character, which again was not necessarily the main character, was not meant to be the main character in the movie. And as we see, the rest of the movie has her barely featured in it. So it's a bit weird that they would spend so much time at the beginning focusing on her. Yes, people said the last 15 minutes or so was very heavily packed. There was about 5 threads unsolved or something that they wanted to quickly rush to figure all out. They were trying to escape. They were trying to. The chairman was still looking for them. There were so many things that I was so concerned that there was only 15 minutes left and they were not resolved. But I think they quickly rushed to ensure that everything was resolved in a quick manner, which reminds me a little bit of Battle on Booker Street. Only because the ending was just kind of like abrupt, and then they sail off into the sunset. Very similar to that. I didn't really like Genevieve's acting, which I'm surprised about people saying they liked it. I thought it was a bit forced at times. I didn't particularly like her. Don't boo me. I didn't particularly like her. I like her, especially emotional scenes. I didn't really feel it. I felt a bit cringed out. And yeah, I think that was it. I think also one scene that was just a bit, people have mentioned some scenes that just don't make sense, how the police know, where chairman was. Yeah. And also there was a scene where Adam was just digging out the money from the grave after he'd just been badly beat up, but there was kind of no evidence of him being badly beat up. He was, I'm pretty sure, beat up with the bat in his ribs, and he was just digging it and pulling heavy things from the floor with no wincing or anything. So that was a bit of an oversight from them. But yeah, it's just small details that weren't really taken care of as much for the audiences. But yeah, those are my bads.
All right. Thanks, Ada. I will fight a little bit. Not even much change. You want to tell us what you do not like about?
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay, because my space has not been loud. Um, what I don't like about A Tribe Called Judah, I kind of feel like Funke's character was kind of doing too much at some point, especially when she was saying, blacks don't crack. What's gonna be is gonna be. Maybe someone, maybe the lady she was greeting used to say to her, because I'm like, how is someone of this level could be saying these things? Do you understand? I kind of not really like that, or maybe maybe I was the one who didn't get why she would be saying that. Um, this movie, I really, when I watched this movie, I was like, did I feel anything about this movie? And I realized that I was trying to take it too seriously than I should, because I should not take Funke seriously. At the point, I was like, this movie was just there, like Fast and Furious. That is the kind of movie this is. You should not take it too seriously, and I wish they could do better. Um, I really said I liked it more than Omogeto, because Omogeto, the first 30 minutes into Omogeto, I got fed up. I was like, I can't continue this. But this movie, when I got after the money, after the heist, I think everything became too much, and I kind of lost interest a bit. I just wanted to see the end, and even towards the end, I got confused about anything happening. You know, making Inse character part of the other group that came to rob the furniture store. I kind of feel like Inse should not be part of them, but I really know they wanted to use that for shock value. But I kind of feel like it was unnecessary. She could have just be a source of info for the other guys, but our being part of them was just, I think that was one of those things that made the whole ending became packed, and they are trying to reveal how she got to know, how she got to be an armed robber and all that. So this movie really, I enjoyed it, but I just don't really care about it. It just felt like every any other movie. Yes, I'm happy for Funke making billions from it, but I just feel like I still want better from her, or maybe I'm the one expecting too much from her, actually. So that's all I have to say.
All right, thanks. Not even much change. Mrs. C.
Yeah. So what did I not like about The Tribe Called Judah? I think almost none of the emotional beats worked for me. I really enjoyed the comedy, but I didn't feel the emotions. I don't even think I was that fussed when Emeka Ba?
Yeah, I think
Judah number one. Yeah, when Judah number one died, I wasn't. But then I think maybe I also found him annoying, and like, oh, look at you turn into crime after all the judgment. But yeah, so the emotional beats didn't really hit for me. And I think someone has mentioned that the end was also anticlimactic, and especially after they killed Judah one after the heist, it just didn't feel like there was anything left to, because they weren't going to kill anyone else. There was nothing left to lose at the end. It was just make it to the end and move on. So yeah, that's majorly what I didn't like about A Tribe Called Judah. I can't remember that much because again I haven't finished my second viewing. But again, vibes.
Okay. Yeah. So for me, Judekana, I think this isn't the worst this isn't the worst I've seen him in, but I think I complained about him during Lionheart, where people were praising, huh? Judekana, sorry, Living in Bondage. Thank you. During Living in Bondage. Sorry, I was just going through films that I got pushed back from. Yeah, all right, yeah. So I got pushed back for complaining about Jake and Living in Bondage. This is not his worst performance by any stretch. In fact, it might be his second best one by Living in Bondage. But I still don't buy it. I don't find his characterization convincing, and that for me is kind of a problem because a lot of people here were very good in things that I haven't liked them before, or I liked. So maybe this is his problem, or this is my problem, depending on how many people share it. I think Ada is right. She touched on like Funke isn't really that integral to the plot, but she takes up so much of the earlier parts. I think we could do with less fat on the film, and I think less Funke would have been very much welcomed just to make it run quicker. The first time I watched, I remember. I think I remember thinking, yes, it did have fat, but the second time when I was watching it, I really felt the pacing of it. There's just a bunch of things like some people have mentioned, just little things here. The smashing of the cameras after you smash 1 and 2, I get the point, but we see it like 20 times. It's just small things like that where it's part of our Nollywood bad habits, repetition, not moving past some certain things. Mrs. C is right about like a lot of the emotional parts. Like I don't. I guess like some people maybe felt something, so maybe it does something for them. But I didn't feel. Funny enough, the place I felt hard was just with Testimonies romance story. I think because it just felt so clumsy, but well actualized than a couple of the other things. Sometimes cutting from scene to scene is jarring. We haven't, again, that's a Nollywood bad habit. We'll go from a very sad scene and then the music will just change all of a sudden to upbeat, and that's something we need to work on, along with tone. Even in that scene in the mall, the parts where they're doing funny things, but the music is super serious. I think that mask is purely the mask the second guy's used. That's just purely comedic. We should not have taken anything during that scene, anything near as serious as, again, the musical, the tone was demanding. So I think there's things with a lot of the tones. There's something that general from this kind of genre, that of some bad habits from this kind of genre. I think they generally take on. Some of the props went great. Genevieve's stick that she's in hitting, some guy looked like foam, to be honest. Things like that. But like none of these things particularly the main thing, Sha, for me is that it's just the fact that Funke's involvement in that first bit. I think one of the best things about this film is that Funke gets out of the way of this film, and she allows the film to, but like she gets out of the way after staying in the way for a little bit, both her character. But yeah, anyway, that's some of the parts I disagree with. So we can go into pushback section. When you had your hand up, is there anything you wanted to say?
No, I don't want to push anybody back. When Ada was talking, I was just getting bad. Like it was just coming to my head. So can I say those new bats?
So go on.
Okay. So as Ada was speaking, I just started getting questions. So like, what happened to Adamu's babe and family? Like, what happened to that whole story? Like, why did we get that? What happened? What was the point? And it's just wondering. It's like it's my head. Like, so did he marry her? Like, what happened? Where is Emeka? I know we know that Emeka is dead, but like it's just like Emeka is dead, and it seems as though like Emeka like died in the US. So yeah, Emeka is dead because like they had his body. So did they do a burial? Did they like what is the issue with the Emeka thing? I remember seeing the place where they pour water because it is water, but apparently it's acid. But getting that where the like that amount of concentrated acid, like where it's like you don't see HCl or H2SO4 like on the streets, like they don't sell it at Bariga markets. Like, so where did they get it from? How did Adamu escape? Like that scene where Adamu is like was inside the place and then he like calls them like they search the house, whatever. How did they let him go? Did he escape? If they let him go, why did they let him go? If they were still going to go search the house, like eh, questions just coming up. Like apparently Funke was making money, but what was she doing? Because all maybe I missed it. All we saw her do was like drink like gin. So like what was her income source? And the other guy is going to steal. It seemed as though they went there preparing for resistance. Like they went there like with guns, like trying to like. But then the way they explained their story was like they bribed, they did, they this. They were supposed. It was supposed to be, and there were no camera. There was not supposed to be any cameras. Why were they wearing masks? Wasn't it supposed to just be a clean go in? Because we understand the reason why the Judah family wore masks, because they needed to get in there and then break the cameras. But these guys are supposedly cameras were like down. So why did they have those masks on? Why were they with guns? Like I thought, yeah. So just
Okay, all right. I think there's if I'm going to start some of the pushbacks just in case people are still wanting to do bad and stuff. Let's go into the pushback section. I think Mrs. C talked about Funke's way of money. She had a keke business.
Mhm.
I also think the boys, a couple of the boys were working, so I think it felt like they were contributing as well to like family things, and all of them, even including the thief people, even Timmy as stealing, he has his job. Stealing is his job. It is work. It's not honest work, but it's work.
And they also showed her giving out money a bit. So it seemed like a lot of her money went into both drinking and like helping the women around her, which
Yes,
seemed to
yes.
be a relatively big thing for her.
Yes. Also, one of the speaking about like stealing and people's professions, like Ejiro scamming with Genevieve. I think that's part of showing what he does. Somebody asked, "What's the point in the begging scene?" I think that's really good character development. For one, it showcases number one that they are hustlers of some kind. They're not just sitting about doing nothing. And so they have some wit about them. And then also when Funke comes to harass them about it, you see more of their togetherness. It's actually pretty good character development for me, and like characterization, to be honest, because that's where you learn about number one how together they are. Because even when when the Funke comes to sort of split them up, that's where you start really seeing how much Ejiro means to testimony. But yeah, no, the begging scene was I thought actually decently done. All right, any more pushbacks?
First question.
I have a pushback.
All right, go on.
First question about Adamu and if they were going to release him or not. They released it because they thought it was innocent, which I'm guessing is a direct correlation with searching the house and not finding anything, and also him in interrogation just not knowing anything. They said a couple times that he's not the one or he's not involved, and that they think the manager is just trying to misdirect them.
Yes, and also they confirmed with they said Libya, like he went to Libya. They confirmed with the other girl, the other worker in the something. She confirmed, oh yeah, when he was fired, he said he was going to Libya going to Europe by Libya. So this is also kind of part of my pushback. I understand. I even said it in kind of like this movie is a little bit long. I understand I said that, but I will say, I think a lot of people are kind of skipping the fact that a lot of movies do setup. And setup, if setup is good and does inform some sort of environmental knowledge about building, we always talk about building the world. Well, they build the world. It's not only for like, okay, they build the world for the setup. That is my pushback. I don't think it's all useless. The only one thing I would say is useless is that is that scene. It's that girlfriend thing, because that girlfriend thing never came up. When meeting the parents and everything, it never came up. But that's the only thing I would say is useless, because they've already said that the parents, the father of these kids, especially of something, already pushed him aside. And I think they shot that scene of like, okay, the known for that scene is like, oh, the father of Adamu pushed him aside and the family doesn't. Well, but we have already known that. So they could have cut that out. Many other ones, I can see an argument of like having them still be there. Because it's characterization. It doesn't have to always fall. It
For me,
doesn't have to always come up with a
I don't
plot.
argue
It
with
just
that.
for
needs
me,
to
there's
be.
a lot of Funke um just melodrama with Funke that I don't think added anything to the meat of the story. I just think there's too much time spent on her for her not really. She really should have. She should have just been a MacGuffin, really. Like she's just the thing that the brothers come together to go fight for. Like she's just as important. She should have been given as much weight as this guy's money, right? Like it's just a thing to get there, but like most of the
Well,
comedy and most of the drama is through the characterization of the brothers, and yeah, she
I
had
will,
like
okay. I will
sort of
say that the
screen time.
reason why we now emotionally get more. Well, some people said they didn't get it emotionally, but okay. Well, most of the people in here said they felt something. I would say the reason why it's there is to give you more emotional setup with a character. It's not always that everything has to always follow a seemingly line of plot. There's sometimes reasons why things are there. That is my pushback.
Yeah,
Now it
Yeah,
might
yeah,
work.
yeah.
Let me
yeah,
finish,
but
please.
we know that
Finish
going
my let me
constantly.
finish my statement. Now, I am not saying that you guys are feeling wrong, because what works for somebody else does not work for another person. Movies are, the people watching it have like, it's subjective. If it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you. Okay, that's just my push. I'm just stating that as a sort of way of thinking about it. It doesn't mean that you should change your, because I will not change my something if somebody says it's something works for them and then they're like, and I'm like, it doesn't work for me. So
Yeah, I think you're right in some sense, but like, yeah, I'm also part of the people who said the emotional parts didn't do anything for me. That's why I found, again, I guess that's where we can have that place to say that we didn't need so much of Funke in at the first like it's like the first 14 minutes of the film. It didn't need that longer setup, to be
But
honest.
like I felt the emotion, and I agree with that because the emotion did not come from Funke. It came from the connection with the brothers and like the devastation when they found out he was dead, not because Funke. Like they could have completely cut out everything Funke did in the beginning, and I don't think it would have changed the emotion of that scene. And I think they even spent too long on her feeling that he died and that whole expression. It wasn't really useful to the meat of the story. She had as much use to the story as a grandma did, really.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, like, yeah, that thing, even where they come back from all the different places, they could have easily swapped out, like, I don't know, Timony getting caught stealing, and then somebody call all the brothers. It's just we didn't need. Yeah, I don't know. It's for me, it's very easy to see Funke's role just much more minimalized, and then you would have gotten a script with less fat. But yeah. Wayne, did you? Was
Yeah,
it
I wanted
actually
to
Nollywood
piggyback
must
on
change?
Pushback,
Sorry.
but I think Nollywood must change was before me.
Yeah, Nollywood must change.
Oh my God. So what I not to push back. So one thing I want to just say is that I'm really tired of seeing Uzo Arukwe in that kind of character. Yeah, I know he's not bad in it, but I'm tired of seeing him in that same character doing it over and over. I'm tired of it. I want to see him in a serious, even though when he's doing serious movie characters, the writing of the movie could be bad. Do you understand? But I want to see him in a serious mood, like this other guy. what's his name in Afeme Funa. I want to see him in a character that he can, show emotions, emote, do things. Not like he can be Igbo in this character, but not like this the one he did in A Tribe Called Judah. So I want to see him in better movies with different characterization.
Okay, I don't. I want to see Uzo do more things as well, but I'm not gonna complain when he's doing a good job at a performance at a role. I'm not going to complain. Like it, if we had somebody who was in this role who was messing up this thing, this film would be a lot less fun. So what I understand I hope he diversifies, but that's not a critique of this film, surely. In the future, if we watch a film and you're like, I've seen this role feels just like his Tribe Called Judah role, then that makes sense. But I don't know. I'm not sure critiquing this performance is it doesn't feel like fair critique anyway for me. Wayne?
Yes, my pushback on the pushback that I wait, my pushback on my they pushed me back. My pushback on that was because people were saying, "Oh, they let him go because they thought he was lying." So why did Uzo's character have them follow like them, right? It's like it was almost as though they were like they were unsure of whether or not the family was involved. And this Uzo's character, he has been shown to be ruthless, right? That guy that stole his money, they shot him. Like him leaving, if he had suspicions that this and he wasn't 100% sure, like him letting that guy go just felt sloppy, especially to the way the character of Uzo had been up to that. I'm saying like that Adamu, like the escape the letting go, it just felt sloppy to the bad guys. Like the bad guys need to
But they
up their
follow
game.
him, right? And they keep tabs on them. Uza in the character is not shown to be unjust. He will take out his justice. If you steal from him and he proves that you steal from him, he will kill you. But there's no point where he wants to kill someone who's possibly innocent. He wants to find his money first. And they didn't find the money in the house. He doesn't seem to have any knowledge of it. They're going to follow them to where the money could be hidden if the brothers are involved. That seemed like the smarter decision than just holding on to him and beating him up. He wasn't going to give up his brothers.
That's a better. Okay, so this is a value pushback. Because I was pushing back to the pushback, but this makes sense. If we say okay, they let him go so they could follow him, then that makes sense. I was just like, why did they let him go? Because it seemed as though they let him go because they were like, it's not a part of it, but then they were still following him. But if they followed him, so you shall understand the English I'm speaking. So yeah, I'll off my mic.
No, thanks, Wayne. Yeah, okay. Any more?
Yes, yeah, people have answered the pushback I was going to answer too. Yeah, sorry, just one thing that people haven't answered. I think the acid was from the gang that Shino was part of. And I think it might not be as easy to get, but I'm guessing if they're part of some type of gang, they have connection to like the underworld or some people that have access to this. And I think that's who was who threw acid on those people. So I don't think it's that unrealistic, I think.
They are not a gang, they are Agberos, right? Because they were going to somebody was building a house and like they're not Agberos, they're like Omoniles / Agberos. Like those guys usually like double if you know Lagos a lot. So they are not like a gang that like should have access to acid. And it didn't feel like using I don't know. I don't want to seem like I'm hitting on the film too much, but like them randomly having acid and them using that as a thing to like attack those like 7 guys or 8 guys, it just felt too convenient. Like these guys would never get acid, especially these particular guys that I've seen in the film. Sorry, Otas.
battery acid is super easy to get. I hate to tell you this, but I do agree that the execution of it was convenient. It's very convenient, but getting acid is actually really easy, which is why you hear of so many acid attacks around the world. More than you should hear. It's not that hard.
Also,
What's
come on.
that kind of
This is why
acid?
we get. This is why it gets labeled with bad character. Wait, how can you in this film the acid? Anybody look? Hey, just speak your mind, Sha. But but speak your mind. Speak your mind. Don't mind me.
They've cooked us for fun before, so
Yeah, to be fair. But no, hey, if it took you out, if it bugged you, it bugged you. All right,
But, sorry, Spencer, I just wanted to say, when they're not a gang, they're Agboros. All right.
All right. Rotimi, what are you saying?
Yeah, I think it's I don't think it's even like serious pushback, but it's a bit like just the comments on this whole idea of like Funke, like they would like, I don't know, maybe it's Nollywood must change about like we like to see Funke do like something else, or even some nature of like some of the characters, not that they should do other things that are not so serious about the whole general, like, because it's like Funke has number 1, 2, and 3 highest box office, like 1, 2, and 3, like the first 3, and it's almost like she has found. That's why I came up, like, that's why I said I started off with a formula. So it's almost like if it's not broke, like it's almost like don't fix it. But I also understand that like it's in this formula that the hole will start to appear, and because it's working for you, you keep doing it, and the whatever the small hole will start to expand. But I'm just like, it's still like I think like Mr. Siado mentioned, she's actually improving the storytelling, the production, the characterizations, the conflicts are improving. So it's like, okay, as long as you keep improving that, but the formula works, and it works for like a general Nigerian audience. So I don't know. I'm just questioning whether we should actually change that. Then this was just a small muse for me. I'm like, this. There's something I don't know. Like, you know those weird things that you said that what are these people trying to teach us in the movie? I was a little bit weird about the idea of people working in a complex. Then the security guards, along with the people that used to work in the shop, connive to go and rob a place. Now they have set it up with Uzo's character that is a bad guy, is probably a criminal or desperate, everything. But it still kind of did me that way that like, your security guard that is in charge of your business can basically arrange with some guys, and they will come into your building and they'll steal some, and they will arrange for your operation. Then it was kind of like, that's just the only thing. I'm just like, in my mind, I'm like, okay, we know why they're doing it. Their mother is sick. This Uzo is an asshole. He wouldn't even dash him money. But I'm still like, okay, all of you work in this building plus the security guards. You plan and connive to go and break into a shop. I'm like, okay, that's like questionable, iffy. That's just iffy as characterization and the escape. And all of them escape. Though this guy dies. So maybe that is like, okay, crime doesn't pay. So yeah, that's just my own small musing.
All right. Thanks, Rotimi. I forgot to mention during my good self that every once in a while, like maybe I'm thinking, a lot of the Nigerianness in me is moving away, but then I see Inse being wicked, and I'm like, and I'm like, hey, maybe Nigerianness has not completely left me. I still find that kind of that and saying this was doing it for me a lot. I just forgot to say. Now I'm saying it. All right. I think is this pushback? If not, we can move to the summary. Okay, we can move to the summary. I think,
wait, yeah. I have something to say. I realized I do have a bad that I did. It's
do your summary. Add the bad to the summary. Don't do your summary from here.
Okay. The one thing I would say is that I thought this was a family movie and people were dying. And I wasn't expecting nobody to be shooting, and I wasn't expecting the actual like consequences for the death. I was just like, oh, okay. I felt it was a little bit jarring, the switching of it. But after I got used to it, Somebody. This is a good movie. I'm not even going to lie. Like, I feel like this movie can actually be very entertaining to the general population. And by general population, I don't even mean like just Nigerian population. I think it can be entertaining to just most human beings. They can connect to the reasons, and the setup really have the emotional thing to drag people into it. Now, with that said, on a Sunday night or any night you come off of work, uh, you're tired or you want to forget about life, put on a movie. I suggest give it 30 minutes. If in 30 minutes you are still entertained, movies are only supposed to entertain you, they're not supposed to do anything more. Maybe they're doing something more, it's extra. Continue. If you don't like it, change it. There are lots of movies in the world, even TV shows, so many things. Choose one of those things. Yeah. You decide whether this is good for you, whether you enjoy it or not. That's all. Enjoy the rest of the day, everybody.
Thanks, Inka. Chinweke, do you want to give us your summary for A Tribe Called Judah? Chinweke, are you there?
Yeah, I'm there. I'm here. Sorry. So my summary. Well, I mean, this is the highest grossing film in Nigeria, in Nigerian movie history, right? It is not a fluke. It did something right. So I think that's like a summary. So it's not. There's a reason it's at the top. So if you want to find out the reason, go see the film. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Chinweke. Rotimi, do you want to give us your summary?
Yeah, this thing, it's a, it's a, it's an entertaining Nigerian Nollywood movie that you cannot like, you can't really pick like flaws. It's not as though like it's almost like I wanted that in terms of filmmaking or in terms of filmmaking, it's not like it's breaking more ground in terms of filmmaking. But you say that's the thing. It's almost like if it was a container, it's not the outside, it's the interior content. The content works for an audience, and it's like that. Like if not for anything, it's like you can make any kind of movie about anything you want to make, but it has to work for the audiences. And like when it works for an audience, even people that have as like where you question that people have like this film high film this thing critique, they will still be able to appreciate that this thing works for an audience. So it's we need more. We need more films that like even if like we need more films that are great films in terms of filmmaking, but we also need more films that can pull people to the cinema, that can help the business so we can grow it and go further. So this is nice. It's good to see that Funke has figured out a way to keep pleasing our audiences, and more people should try and learn from what she's doing. I'm like, this is how you make an audience entertain a Nigerian audience. It doesn't take much to entertain them, but if you get the things right, everybody will be fine. So yeah.
All right, thanks, Rotimi. Wayne, do you want to give us your summary?
Absolutely. It's let's say a city called Judah. A tribe called Judah. Yes. It's a fun film. It's a fun watch. It doesn't have anything really wrong with it, but I also don't think it has anything really right with it. It's just like okay, right? Like it's like Onyekon usually says, it's like just something that you can just watch on a Sunday afternoon. And I think maybe that's what works for it. Sunday evening, sorry. I think that's maybe what works for it. That it's just like very watchable. Um so I think I don't know, it should be the highest grossing film. Let's leave that. But it's a good watch. It's fun, I guess.
All right, thanks, Wayne. And Atas, do you want to give us your summary?
This was a fun movie. I wouldn't have been too mad actually to watch it in cinemas. I probably would have even enjoyed it a lot more in cinemas. But overall, Yeah, I would watch it again. I would recommend it. Like, as long as the person isn't looking for like a critically acclaimed film, this is not gonna be that. But it's a fun movie, and I would recommend it. So overall, not too much to say. I still do think Funke could use some better direction as she continues to make movies going forward. She needs to find someone who is not afraid to say no to her and just tell her, like, you can't do that, even if you want to. But not too much to say.
All right, then. Thanks, Atas. Ada, do you want to give us your summary?
Yeah, I think this movie is pretty largely innocuous. I didn't go too hard in the bad section or the good section because it doesn't really take much out of you. I think it's largely okay. I don't know what is the highest grossing. I think Bartable and Booker Street was. I prefer that to this, but I also don't. It's not incredulous that it would do good at cinemas. It's relatively fun, and I like that it kept a certain Nigerianness to it, which is something Funke is able to do. But yeah, on average, is pretty much average is okay. I didn't hate it, didn't love it either, and I just wish they would tighten up a little bit, and not have like unnecessary scenes. But yeah, pretty much it was okay.
All right, thanks, Ada. Mrs. C.
Yeah, I'm with Ada on that. It's I'm not surprised this was our highest grossing film. I think it had a lot of elements that would appeal to quite a wide audience and get butts in seats in the cinemas. This was vibes. Like I said, this was good vibes. And honestly, in summary, we always subject Mr. C's cousin and his family to our Nollywood film of the weekend, film club film of the weekend. And this is the first one he didn't want to cook my husband for. So do with that what you will.
Yeah, so I think Funke she's working on this Nollywood blockbuster formula, and she's doing a very good job at it. And now, all of this doesn't mean everything is perfect and everything, but it doesn't mean everything is perfect by any stretch of imagination, but she is getting better. Even as I was thinking about it, about my big critique about Tribe Called Judah, about her being a huge part of the movie, I think she just has to be in the movie to sell it to the fans. And that's why she's in it. That's probably the reason why she's in it as much as she is. If she can get to a place where it can be a Funke film, and she doesn't have to be in it, and she can still command that audience, I think it would be a great place, because that means she could probably be able to work on multiple projects instead of waiting for Nollywood being in a in a state of higgy haga until Funke releases in December. So yeah, I think it's good that my favorite thing about her is that she is improving. And it's just something that I can tell you, unfortunately, too many Nollywood filmmakers aren't. So I'm happy for her, as long as she just realizes that there's still a lot to work on. There's still sound issues, and there's still a bunch of bad habits we have with repetition that we can get better with. But I'm very I'm just happy that she's made a film that is both appealing to masses and trying to get things right in the filmmaking department. So yeah, it's my general take on this. I enjoyed it in the cinema a lot more, and I'd say to Ataz, if she did see it in the cinema or if she saw it with a bunch of friends, she would have enjoyed it more. I agree. All right. Next week on Nollywood Film Club, I think it's our third year anniversary. So we might be doing some reflections back instead of a film. We'll see what films come out. Maybe we can do both. But
We'll do giveaway.
apparently Mrs. C is doing giveaway, so look forward to that. But yeah, Nollywood is 3. It's technically Nollywood Film Club.
Not Nollywood.
It's behaving like a 3-year-old. All right, Nollywood Film Club is 3 years. But okay, technically, actually, Nollywood Film Club, it will be 3 years on I think the 1st of May or 2nd of May. I think is the more appropriate date. But we're not there. Then this is the closest one. So we'll be celebrating it next weekend. So it'll be interesting to see you guys here. But if not, thank you guys for turning up, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the episode. If you enjoyed listening and would like to join live, just follow us on Twitter at Iroko Critic and join us every Sunday, 6 p.m. West African time on our spaces.